Winter is coming back with a vengeance here in 2024. After a very mild December, we have several snowstorms upcoming and the polar vortex to contend with as we get into mid-January, and we'll give you those details in today's weather forecast. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, everyone. Hope everybody's having a great start to their weekend out there on Saturday, and now it's Sunday out there. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday so far. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below for detailed weather breakdowns across North America and the tropics, and help me get to 75,000 subscribers by simply subscribing to the channel down below and liking the video. It helps out more than you know. Looking here at the current weather conditions across the United States, and we see two distinct storm systems across the United States. The first of which is our northeast snowstorm, bringing moderate to heavy bands of snow across portions of the Northeast and New England, and our second snowstorm organizing across the Four Corners region that will be lifting out into the middle of the country as we go into early next week. So a busy time of it here. We have winter weather headlines continuing across the Northeast and New England in the pink shaded colors. Those are your winter storm warnings. In the purple surrounding that, those are your winter weather advisories, and most of these winter weather headlines go through your Monday morning time frame. As we go through today, we're going to continuously see more moderate to pockets of heavy snow across Maine here, getting into Vermont, New Hampshire, portions of eastern New York, down into Massachusetts, Connecticut, and parts of Rhode Island as we go through today. Then as we go into later this evening, especially after midnight there, we're going to start to see that snowfall begin to wind down from west to east across the Northeast and New England, and all we'll be left with is the clouds and possibly a few flurries out there going into your Monday morning time frame. But that's not before we see additional snowfall accumulations, and some formidable additional accumulations at that. We could be seeing an additional foot of snow here back north and west of Boston, getting into much of Massachusetts here, southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire, and then getting back into eastern New York State. We could be seeing totals additionally closing in on a foot of snow through your Monday morning. And this will be disrupting travel. So here's your winter storm severity index through your Monday morning time frame, and you can see in the oranges and reds that's your moderate to major travel disruptions, mainly centered on Massachusetts here. So you make sure if you do head out, give yourself plenty of time to get to your destination, as snow-covered roadways will be very slick out there as we go through your Monday morning. Then the attention turns back to the west as we go in towards your Sunday afternoon as well. We have a low pressure developing currently across the Four Corners region, and this will be our second, probably more significant snow system as we go into early this week. And you can see that beginning across the Four Corners region today. Heavy snows breaking out across Utah, western Colorado, getting into northern and central Arizona, northwestern New Mexico, some heavier snows in those higher elevations today. And then as we go into tonight, that snow band starts to shift further east, more into Colorado, Wyoming, and also into portions of New Mexico. And we even could see some snow up here into the Dakotas at times going into tonight as well. Overall, snowfall accumulations through your Monday time frame, this over the next 12 to 24 hours. Decent snows to be expected across the Four Corners region, Utah, north central Arizona, western Colorado, and northwestern New Mexico will be the hardest hit across the western U.S. with this system. The Salt Lake City area could be picking up several inches of snow, possibly a half a foot. The Flagstaff, Tucson area into northeastern Arizona could be picking up several inches there. West of Denver could be seeing several inches, close to 6 inches. And then outside the Albuquerque region in New Mexico and northwestern New Mexico, we could be seeing a handful of inches there of snowfall as well. Then as we go into Monday, strengthening system down to a 996 millibar low here into central Kansas. That will be kicking up some severe weather across the deep south there Monday afternoon, but watch as it continuously strengthens as it enters the Midwest and the Great Lakes region on Tuesday to a 984 millibar low somewhere near eastern Illinois or near the Chicago land area there with the central low pressure. So looking on Monday, the cold air, marginally cold on the northwest side, bringing a narrow band of some moderate to heavy snow across western Iowa, eastern Nebraska, getting into northern and western Kansas, and then perhaps some snow wrapping in across the Oklahoma and Texas panhandle, and then all rain with severe weather breaking out Monday afternoon and evening across the deep south here and in toward the Gulf Coast. And then as we go into Tuesday, that severe weather threat will be marching across Dixie Alley into the southeast, including the Carolinas there, where we have a deformation snow band with heavy snows breaking out across northern Michigan, southern Wisconsin, through portions of the western Chicago suburbs, especially there, across north central Illinois, getting into eastern Iowa, and through portions of Missouri. And notice the tight isobars here. Not only will it be snowing Tuesday, we could be seeing some strong winds, so some blizzard-like conditions will be possible. And then finally by Wednesday, that system will be exiting the picture and becoming a thing of the past by the middle of the week. Looking first at the warm side, and of concern is the severe weather potential. Monday into Tuesday, there is a possible to a likely category here. I do think there is a likely chance of severe weather the closer you get to the Gulf Coast, the Houston area, getting into Baton Rouge, Lake Charles, and New Orleans, and then getting across the Mobile, Alabama area and closing in on Panama City later in the day, Monday into your Tuesday morning. All modes of severe weather will be in play, including a few tornadoes, and then that will shift even further east with possible severe weather in the yellow across southeastern Alabama, much of Georgia there, getting into South Carolina, and much of Florida as well as we go into that Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe. This system, though, even though you may or may not see severe weather, will be dropping some beneficial but some very heavy rains across the eastern 2/3 of the country. We could be talking widespread 2 to 5 inch rainfall amounts here across the East Coast and down across the Southeast. And this is in a short couple of days span. So looking at the probability for flash flooding out there, a large marginal to slight risk for flash flooding Monday into Tuesday, really centered on southeastern Arkansas, eastern Louisiana, getting into much of Mississippi and Alabama, and into northwestern Florida there early in the week. And then that shifts across the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. That I-95 corridor, slight to even a moderate risk of flash flooding, really centered across southern New York State and northern New Jersey Tuesday into Wednesday. And remember, this will be heavy rain falling over our fresh new snowpack, so that will be concerning for flash flooding up there. Looking at our new snowstorm, we already have winter weather headlines, winter storm watches being posted by your local National Weather Service offices across the Central Plains, back into the Southern Plains here in those blue shaded colors. And if you extrapolate this a little bit further off to the east-northeast, you could probably expect more watches and even advisories expanding into the Des Moines area, La Crosse, Milwaukee, Chicago, Peoria, Illinois, and then maybe into Michigan as well, up toward Traverse City and Grand Rapids moving forward over the next 24 to 36 hours. And we got to look at the temperature profile, because every time precipitation occurs, we really have to kind of dig into these temperatures, especially with these systems that are kind of borderline freezing mark. You can see low 30s, mid 30s across the Midwest there on Monday for highs, and we're only dropping a couple of degrees Monday night, back into the upper 20s briefly, and then back into the low 30s, not too much further down in toward the south. And you can see on Tuesday the same thing, the temperatures hanging around the freezing mark. And looking at our temperatures in equivalence to our snow ratios, right now here in the highlighted areas, that's what our snow ratios could look like. If you're in the mid to upper 20s to near 32 degrees, 9-to-1 to 11-to-1 ratio, very wet snow. And then over 32 degrees, it can still snow, but it's going to be a very low ratio of 8-to-1 or lower, possibly even down to a 6-to-1 ratio in some areas across the Midwest and Great Lakes. So what this looks like with our total snow accumulation maps, you're probably going to see maps that show 8, 10, 12, 15 inches of snow. But when you look at the very wet nature of the snowpack, it's going to be kind of more of a slushy snow to begin with, and then kind of become more compact. So that means our snow accumulations will be lower due to those marginal temperatures. So across Kansas here, back into the Oklahoma, northern Texas panhandle, and perhaps southeastern Colorado, a swath of about at least 4 to 7 inches is likely here, and that could be all the way up into eastern Nebraska. And then moving into the Midwest, the Hawkeye state of Iowa, especially southern and eastern Iowa, getting into northern Missouri there, northwest Illinois, and into portions of southern Wisconsin. A very nice band here of 4 to 7 inches of snow with locally higher amounts possible as we go, especially into northeast Missouri, into west central Illinois. That's where the bullseye is for the heaviest snowfall with this system. And then on up into northern Michigan there, Traverse City, up there toward Gaylord, Michigan, we could be talking about potentially up to around 6, 7, 8 inches there going into your Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe. And then southeastern Canada gets some decent snows, especially southern Ontario and much of Quebec. Toward Montreal, we could be talking about 10, 12 inches as we go in toward that Wednesday timeframe. So definitely a doozy out here, and travel will become disrupted. And right now showing minor to moderate travel disruptions Monday through Wednesday, but don't be surprised if I come back and show you that we have major travel disruptions in a day or so because of those snow totals out there. So definitely take it easy early this week if you are traveling. And then we have a third system as we go into this upcoming weekend. I know this shows Wednesday the 10th through Sunday the 14th, but we could have another southern stream storm moving up from the Texas Panhandle and taking a track either into the western Ohio Valley, similar to the storm this weekend, into early next week, or we could be seeing more of a southern track taking it across the lower Ohio Valley and into the northeast. And that track would be more favorable for heavy snows in the Ohio Valley and further south and east as we go into this next weekend. So looking at the ensembles, this is what we do when something is about 7, 8, 9 days out. This is your GEFS ensemble during that January 13th, 14th, and 15th timeframe, and it sets it up across the areas there into the Midwest, taking a very similar track with this ensemble model to what the storm is early this week on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, taking it across Iowa, northern Missouri, much of the land of Lincoln there in Illinois, the Badger State of Wisconsin, and then through portions there of Michigan, and then on up into southeastern Canada. But then in comparison, the CMCE ensemble, the Canadian ensemble guidance, takes it a little bit further south, and it has more of that southern track through the Ohio Valley with the heaviest snows through Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, and eastern Illinois, and then more snow for the northeast. So right now the track is key. We just don't know the track that storm will take. So stay tuned to that as we go throughout the week. We will keep you updated. Now beyond that storm system, what is of higher confidence is the polar vortex coming. We've been talking about this, and I actually showed it 9-10 days ago that the Arctic oscillation is negative, and it's going to drop even further negative into the -4, 5, even -6 range by the middle of January. And what this means, it's going to pull down that true Arctic air across the Pacific Northwest, the northern Rockies, and then down across the Great Plains and into the Midwest, and then perhaps later on in January getting even into the Ohio Valley as well. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Here are your temperatures on Sunday. Look at all the below zero temperatures up here into the cold purples and blues up into west central Canada. Even the northern Rockies seeing those below zero highs on Sunday. Watch that trickle down further south. Yes, entering the Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma, Missouri, even western Illinois with that as we go into Monday the 15th. And then that goes even further south on Tuesday, potentially as far south as the Gulf Coast on the 16th. So that is some serious cold. And this is the real feel of what it will feel like in the morning hours when you walk outside, and you can see those wind chills potentially 40, 50, even 55 degrees below zero Fahrenheit, especially centered up here to Montana, Alberta, and British Columbia, Canada for your Sunday morning, the 14th. We're still seeing some very cold temperatures and wind chills out here into the Midwest. Still not a cakewalk there. -15 in the Twin Cities, 2 degrees above zero in Des Moines, and -14 in Omaha. Still very cold there for your Sunday morning. Watch that get a little bit more intense and drop further south on Monday morning on the 15th. -64, this model in particular is showing there into the highest elevations of Wyoming. That is some serious cold, -40 degree wind chills into the Dakotas and Nebraska there Monday morning. And then watch Tuesday morning. Yes, your eyes aren't mistaking you. We could be seeing -2 for a wind chill in the Dallas-Fort Worth area on Tuesday morning, minus 32 in Amarillo, and minus 44 up there toward Rapid City, South Dakota. So some serious cold is on the way, and we need to prepare for this as we go forward. So looking at your wind chill map here, your wind chill chart, and your frostbite times, we are going to be entering into those 30, 40, even 50 below zero wind chills for a lot of us. And that means it's only going to take 10 minutes, maybe even just 5 minutes for frostbite to set in. So make sure you are dressed in all layers when this cold comes around toward the middle of January, and be prepared for that as well. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below for detailed weather breakdowns across North America and the tropics. We will continue to keep you covered right here on this channel and ahead of the storm and all the colds out there. And make sure to press the like button down below. It helps out more than you know. Share this video with friends, family, and on social media. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their weekend out there.